me feeling like I'm academics. Can't
Papoose dropping some new music. That's happening there. Did y'all hear what Charleston White said about New York? I wanted to play it to get y'all take on it. So essentially, he was speaking about the wave that Max B has coming home, but he was talking about New York music as a whole, and he said some very interesting things. I want to get your opinion on
rapper, but New York rapper. That's why them niggas ain't in the charts like us down here. That's why Atlanta and the South been ruling for what, the last 20, 30 years?
Well, New Yorkers feel if you don't know who Max B is, you're uncultured. Do you agree with that?
Most people are uncultured. We don't eat pizza that they eat. We don't go to the bodegas. We don't know battle rap. So we're very uncultured compared to New York. Don't nobody, like Pimp C say, we don't play that bullshit down here. Actually, we don't play that bullshit down here, nigga. Put y'all records on one side of a store, put our records on another side of a store, and see who sell the most, nigga. Don't nobody listen to that bullshit, nigga. Nobody listen to New York rappers, but New York rappers. That's why them niggas ain't in the charts like us down here. That's why Atlanta and the South been ruling for what, the last 20, 30 years? Cause we're uncultured, nigga. We got a Southern culture that we embrace. And Timberlands ain't part of it. Being cold in the snow with fur around our heads, that ain't our culture, my nigga. We play outside at Christmas time and shouts. We don't know about Puerto Ricans. We don't know about the Statue of Liberty. We didn't smell the dust from the Twin Towers. So we ain't tuned in to that New York shit, my nigga. We respect it. We salute it.
I will say though, and I'm actually here to kind of stamp some of the stuff. I do believe that New York is still important, but I believe if you're following the pulse of the culture is definitely down south. It hasn't been on the West Coast for a while. New York has been hot and cold. I think it was gonna have a wave with for example, like Pop Smoke, with 6ix9ine, but then we know what happened with that. And we've gotten like spotty, like we haven't really seen a wave that was like a bunch of artists all thriving at the same time. You get A Boogie and then it's kind of just him, and then you get like a 6ix9ine, and then you get like a Pop Smoke, but you don't get like 5, 6, 7 artists where the whole region is jumping. Where like I felt like back in the day there was just mad boroughs that was just popping. You had a nigga from Queens. You had a couple from Brooklyn. You had like everybody, like Harlem was always with it. It was very diverse in terms of the city. Now I think there's not really much of a wave. I even admitted it when I went down to Louisiana. I was like, I got to start coming down here more, even Dallas. And the reason why I said that is I said I used to think there was no reason to really go to the South. And I'm like, y'all got to come here. I don't believe that's the place. I don't think that's the thing anymore. I don't believe that if you're a Texas artist, you need to come to New York at all. So I would honestly say, I'm not going to say the South is the center of hip hop, but I think the pulse of what hip hop music is absolutely in the South. And I think I've even taken note because I've made a more of a concerted effort to go to the South to ingratiate myself with what's really happening with music, because for me to be, somebody who's covering hip hop and having one of the biggest media outlets and also one of the biggest voices, you got to be in tune. And if I'm really being in tune, the majority of the pulse of what's going on in hip hop right now is definitely going on in the South. Okay, it ain't been on the West Coast in a long time. And when I'm saying that, I'm not talking about a one-off artist or whatever. I'm talking about the entire region having like some real motion. And New York is spotty, or it's like sporadic. But when it comes to South, I got to be honest, they got it.
But y'all on the island, nigga. That's why y'all got Rockers Island. I am a hip hop expert. His music have never been played outside of New York. We don't know who Max B is. Don't know who he is, what he home for. Don't know what he was in prison for. Nigga, we from the South. And in the South, we've never connected to anything outside of Jay-Z, Nas, Jada Kiss, Biggie, LL Cool J, nigga, them Max B's and Jim Jones. I fuck with Jim Jones by way of Dipset now. But nigga, it was more Joel Santana was the nigga. Jim and the rest of them nigga was.
And that might be way of even Wayne fucking with him. Remember, Wayne rocked with Joel specifically out of Dipset.
Background singer. You know, Joel was the nigga. Cameron came, cause Cameron had the niche with the pink fly. The rest of them nigga was just props. Yeah, they were fly and hard. But to the rest of the world, them nigga was props, homie. That's why we looking at like Big Dog Jim. Nigga, you was a prop. We ain't now a song we can sing other than ball and nigga, we don't know none of them niggas songs. We ain't never heard a nigga bumping them niggas out in the trap other than Dipset. And Jewels was the nigga. So I don't know what these niggas listen to New York rapper, but New York rapper.
Hey, I like when this becomes a conversation because I do think New York is one of the most prideful places, and I think the entire city should take it as, you know, inspiration. Now, this is what I always say to New York. Well, I say to every region, but like LA is too far gone. When you tell LA niggas they not popping outside of LA, they think you're lying. Because what happens is they're from California, and California is so big that it could sustain an ecosystem where they actually think the entire United States knows about them. New York kind of has that too. Like you could get drowned in your own momentum and your own city where you think that everybody in the United States knows you, when in reality, it's only a very small portion of the United States, but it's majority of your city likes you, right? And that's something you always got to watch out for, if you ask me. I think most New York rappers should realize, hey, even if y'all got a wave, you're not making a global wave. Like being hot in New York City, just, yeah, it means a lot, especially to a new artist that might have nothing. But that's not what makes, you know, a real wave that really carries on to other cities and places if you're only hot in New York. You know what I mean? And a lot of times these artists can't even figure out whether they're hot in New York, only hot in New York because they pretty much stay in New York and they stay online. And online, they think that's the world. And then when they go outside in New York, they feel like my city loves me. And then I'm hot on Instagram, so they love me in Louisiana. They love me in Montana. They love me in Mississippi. And honestly, most of the times, that's not true. I also keep saying that most of these artists, they're not putting in the time to become real superstars or stars anymore. They're kind of just being comfortable with being known. And when that's the case, some of these conversations are going to happen where I think what Charleston White is saying that, yo, y'all New York dudes are like some regional dudes now. Like, we look at y'all as regional. Even though y'all from the biggest cities, y'all come across regional, while people in the South, their music is being heard even more prevalently in New York City. So, it's kind of one of those things. All right. Let's see if we could get to